It is something about it when that big bird sets up. I just happened to look up and they were just. Get 'em.
Ducks Unlimited Television is presented by Drake Waterfowl Systems, innovators in waterfowl hunting.
Hello again and welcome to Ducks Unlimited Television. I'm Ashley Ward. This week we're headed to Ontario, Canada to hunt with outstanding DU volunteers, Lisa Tadgell and her husband Jamie at Grey Bruce Outfitters with owner Steve Totes and co-host Fred Zink. We'll enjoy outstanding hunting for both geese and ducks in this part of Ontario located not far from the U.S. border. And we will hear Lisa and Jamie's story and learn why they are so passionate about DU's mission. Next on DU TV.
This part of Ontario is unique. A lot of photography, a lot of rolling hills, farmland, and the farms up here are typically highly kept. Very clean areas, very clean, organized farms. And there's a lot of cattle in this area. I think that's part of the reason why the Canada goose hunting is so good here. With cattle comes silage, where they plant the corn. They don't let it go to kernel, as they would say up here, but most of them are silaged in the green state sometime in September to early October, and that's about the time migrating Canada geese are starting to return back home to the United States from up north, and this is a great staging area for them. So on this hunt, we find ourselves in a kind of a rolling wheat stubble field. The fields are typically fairly bare, and they can somewhat be hard to hide in. A lot of times we'll find an edge. When we got there in the morning, the wind kind of died down. It was extremely humid, to be honest with you, raining sideways. We set a rig up, and we're getting ready to hunt right before a front here.
Great duck weather.
The wind switched around. We anticipated the wind change. We had a northeast wind. We set up on this right up on top of the hill. Here we go, on the right, 3. Get those 2 right there.
That would be Jamie. Where you put me under that.
Max. Ooh, little dog. That's a big goose for you. Good boy. Big old honker there. That's the first shot of 2019 for me right there. Never Go.
Jamie and Lisa, met them at our local DU event when I was on the chapter here in Walkerton. Continued on to start their own chapter in Strathroy area, and they've done really well. And
it's a really cool story what Miss Lisa was able to do with Ducks Unlimited, starting the chapter, kind of resurrecting something that had fell.
I went to the Toronto Sportsman Show, and I was at the Ducks Unlimited booth, and I saw the guys, and I said, well, I want to start a chapter up again in Strathroy, and they kind of looked at me like, yeah, okay. I think I got home and within 2 days I started making the phone calls to my great committee members. There was 5 or 6 guys that do a lot of hunting together and got their wives on board, and we have a committee of 30 people.
Yeah. And for her to start at the very bottom, build that foundation, build it all the way back up to be the second largest banquet system and event in Ontario, I could see why she was Volunteer of the Year for sure.
Ducks Unlimited Television is presented by Drake Waterfowl Systems, innovators in waterfowl hunting. Mossy Oak Shadow Grass Blades, the official camo of Ducks Unlimited. Browning Firearms, the best there is. And by Ducks Unlimited's Ducks Expo at Texas Motor Speedway, celebrating everything outdoors.
So when you drive around here, you drive in the hills here, Ducks Unlimited has many projects across Ontario. So a lot of Americans talk about Ducks Unlimited. They say, well, we raise a lot of money, spend a lot of money, but why does our money always go to Canada? And not always the case. You know, you got North Dakota, you got South Dakota, Wisconsin, Minnesota. There's some states that definitely hatch ducks, there's no doubt. Cut them. But the real prairie potholes and the real region for ducks habitat and reproduction is Canada. We like it because I live in Ohio just south of here, and we like it when you raise ducks. Works out good for us as well. Quite a few of the bands that we shoot are from Ontario, or Minnesota, Wisconsin, Saskatchewan. You know, it's kind of a little far off above us. So when you talk about the passion that Lisa has with the DU committee and raising money, then I think the real reason behind all that is her husband, Jamie.
A few years back, I got a rare autoimmune disease called CIDP. And with this disease, the immune system attacked my nervous system. The furthest down I got to was a wheelchair. Very humbling, very humbling. Duck hunting now, when you look at waders, when you go to the marsh, I'm jealous when I see people go through the waders and walk through the marsh. Mine is the chronic and it is permanent. So my toes do not move. I get drop foot. One of my biggest problems that I could see was how was I going to deal with this opening duck hunting season? Well, to my rescue was my wife and a good friend. We're going to paddle me out in a canoe.
She could see the struggle that he had being able to go out and doing it by himself.
I guess I felt the drive he had, but I had to push him.
The day that I don't want to go out, she goes, you know, yeah, let's go. Let's go hunting tonight. So she'll drag my butt off the couch.
He had to be in a chair with a back. So we lift him up, put him in the chair. We set up all the decoys the way he wanted them set up. And he sat there with his 410. Once I pushed him, I got out there and enjoyed it.
Being there was all that mattered.
My granddaughter was born right when he was sick. He couldn't even hold her. That was a bad time.
I can go out, like I can have a bad day at work and go get into the duck or goose blind, and I forget about my bad days. And that's why I'm doing a lot of stuff that I do is so Jamie doesn't remember those bad days 5 years ago.
Yeah. You like duck hunting better or goose hunting? What's your favorite?
Goose hunting.
Goose hunting?
Yeah.
It is something about it when that big bird sets up. And I grew up as a duck hunter, but I fell in love with the geese when I was about 15 or 16. There started to be a bunch of them around, and to be honest with you, that's what got me into the waterfowling career. Calling contests, and I just was infatuated with them because not many people knew anything about them where I grew up. There wasn't any. I had to learn a lot of it on my own in the beginning.
I got hooked by going out with them once, and one bird come in, a loner come in, and they said, "It's yours."
Yeah.
So I had like all these guys around me, and I knocked it down, and I said, "Okay, let's go buy decoys and a trailer."
I love people like you. That's how I made a living. by people going out for their first time and falling in love with it.
Things happen for a reason. This disease has definitely brought us closer, brought us more to nature, more to back what we wanted to be when we first got married.
Since 1937, Ducks Unlimited's goal has remained the same: to fill the skies with waterfowl today, tomorrow, and forever. To achieve that goal, DU's early work focused exclusively on the Canadian prairies. And once a strong habitat foothold was established there, the first project on U.S. soil took place at the Lake Arena Wildlife Management Area in North Dakota. This 800-acre property lies in the heart of the Missouri Coteau in the Prairie Pothole region, a DU Priority 1 conservation area. In 1974, Ducks Unlimited de Mexico, or DUMAC as it is known, was officially incorporated. The challenges of wetlands habitat in Mexico are many, but this vital wintering area needed help. And today, DUMAC has completed over 250 projects on nearly 2 million acres, a true success story. So Ducks Unlimited is truly a North American organization committed to all parts of the continent. To find out how you can help us, please visit ducks.org.
DU Insights is brought to you by Mossy Oak Properties. Find your favorite place at mossyoakproperties.com. DUTV is powered by Browning Ammunition, the best there is. Mossy Oak Properties, America's land specialist. Purina Pro Plan, nutrition that performs. And Plano Synergy and Zink Calls, a champion in every call.
The one great thing about waterfowl I like over any of the other hunting is you can talk and tell stories and share experiences while you're in the blind in between those flocks of ducks and geese that are coming, and then
get him. Boom! Back. That's the way to do it.
it's like you carry on that conversation as soon as that flock comes and either goes or whatever, and we try to fix our mistakes that flock didn't decoy and for the next one, and then we carry it back into that same conversation and story that we were just telling before that. So
we love to hunt those dogs. That's what they live for, a different deal. Ooh, good job, Taz. Good job, Max. Good job. See, you get a crippled bird like that, if you're in a cattail swamp or something like that, there's just no way of tracking that down. But a dog can run it down, retrieve it, makes quick work of it. Good job, Max. That wraps it up, huh?
the best part about waterfowling is the whole big picture. You're going out, you're scouting them, you're finding them, you're watching them feed in fields and knowing where they're landing in the field so you know where to set up and be where they want to be is probably the most important thing of any of the waterfowl hunting you do. This morning we scouted this field last night, and there was about 400 geese in here, and they were out in the middle of the field, which there's standing corn right beside where the geese were feeding. So typically the best blind is the natural blind along the edge, so we decided to go in the standing corn, put the decoys out. We had a good wind. It's a good hide for the hunters to stay hidden.
I'm coming. We just got set up here. Yeah, they're coming right now. We just got set up. This is the old school. This is how we kind of all grew up, hunting and standing corn here. And before lay down blinds and before A-frames and anything like that fancy, this is how most people do it. Extremely effective, easy to shoot. Geese are not afraid of standing corn whatsoever. Got some coming right here. Get him. Back.
We got more involved in duck hunting, I feel, when the husband and wife combination goes pushing and pulling each other. It sounds simple, but you miss opportunities when it's all yourself.
And I just felt that me and my husband could make a difference. Coming in to a town that hasn't had a dinner in probably 10 years, that our voices could be heard, that we want the next generation to preserve the wetlands.
Got him. Max. Here. Back. Here you go, Toti.
God, I don't even have that number.
It's a different one?
Yeah, it's different.
That's the same as that one right there.
DUTV is brought to you by Native Nurseries, hand-selected, hand-grown plants for wildlife. Higdon Outdoors, quality, customer service, innovation. That's Higdon. Biologic, scientifically proven wildlife products. Closed captioning for Ducks Unlimited Television is brought to you by Mossy Oak Bottomland, the official timber pattern of Ducks Unlimited.
Let's talk about what we were doing with our goose calls today. With the decoys out in front of us, you never want to blow at the geese when they're right above you. So a lot of times when the geese are coming, just remember, if you're in the right spot, this call is not going to make them come in quicker. So a lot of times we'll let the geese drift over us, go downwind, and just start soft talking. Just turn them back in. But when you do call, when they're close, you want to call kind of towards the decoys. And you got to understand that they're expecting the sound to be out there, not in the corn. So try to get your sound out there. It works great in the timber for duck calling. That worked really well today. Sometimes we had to call out pretty hard because there's a lot of geese and they were confused. But the less you blow your goose call, a lot of times the better off you are. So you don't always have to use your call and call at them 100 miles an hour. Every day is a little bit different. Don't be afraid to try something new.
Duck Talk with Fred Zink, powered by Plano Synergy and Zink Calls, a champion in every call.
I guess you learn that life is too short. You just never know when that curveball is going to be thrown at you.
You appreciate things that could be taken from you.
Here they come, Tosi.
She makes me take the time to photograph, to make the memories.
Got them.
I want my granddaughter to be able to enjoy the things that I love about hunting, fishing, about being out there in nature.
And DU is a good form of giving back. You know, we got a granddaughter now, 2 more that are coming up, and we enjoy so much taking her out and from the grassroots, showing her the frogs, the snails. You know, she's pointing out the field saying, there's some geese, Papa. And the dollars that we raise is matched by corporations and private donations up to 4 times. Every little bit counts. That when you give $1, that's $4. If it's $100, it's $400.
The reason why I can reflect on that so much is because of the partnership that my wife and I were able to form. When we started Zink Calls in Avian X, I always said I was the one that made the phone ring, but she was the one that answered it as I traveled all over the United States and Canada chasing waterfowl and turkeys. So a true partnership in life and your wife is the key to having a great relationship and a long-term marriage for sure. Get 'em. Best part about the hunt's the dog. We like to go hunting, they live for it. Don't you, Max? Huh?
Ducks Unlimited relies upon its incredible volunteer network to accomplish every conservation goal. Lisa and Jamie Tadgell are outstanding examples of this volunteer spirit. Ducks Unlimited Inc., Ducks Unlimited Canada, and Ducks Unlimited de Mexico would like to thank all the great volunteers whose sacrifices in the name of waterfowl and wetlands conservation make everything possible. Thanks for watching, and please join us next time for more exciting action on DUTV.